There's several warnings, and they say they followed proper procedures. While they're
acquitted 4 Los
Angeles and get up to $4
of using excessive force in the beating of Rodney King.
Today, Rodney King himself spoke to the public with an impassioned plea for peace and understanding.
It's just not right. It's not right, and it's not gonna change anything. We'll get our justice. They've won the battle, but they haven't won the war. We'll have our day in court, and that's all we want. And just I love, you know, I'm neutral. I love people of color. You know, I'm not like they picking me out to be. We've got to quit. We've got to quit. You know, after all, I mean, I can understand the first upset for the first 2 hours after the verdict, but to keep going on like this, and to see the security guard shot on the ground, it's just not right. It's just not right, because those people will never go home to their families again. And I mean, please, we can get along here. We all can get along.
Tonight, President Bush echoed the appeals of Rodney King.
In a speech to the nation, the president says he's prepared to use whatever force is necessary to restore order in Los Angeles. The president made it a point to denounce the violence and assure the public that the verdict in the King trial is not the end of the process. A Justice Department investigation is in high gear that could result in more charges against the 4 officers.
The federal effort in this case will be expeditious, and it will be fair. It will not be driven by mob violence, but by respect for due process and the rule of law.
The president tonight also expressed his respect for police officers, firefighters, and ordinary citizens risking their lives to restore peace in Los Angeles.
Across the country tonight, police are on alert for protests last night in several cities. They got out of hand. Tonight, we're receiving few reports of violence or unrest in cities across the country. This is New York City. A crowd there threw an occasional rock or bottle and grew to about 1,000 at one point. But the crowd broke up peacefully with only a couple of arrests reported. There was also some violence today in Atlanta, Georgia. A curfew remains in effect there, and in San Francisco tonight. And in Madison, Wisconsin, 2,000 people rallied outside the city-county building. They burned effigies of L.A. Police Chief Daryl Gates and the 4 police officers acquitted in the King case. No arrests were reported in that demonstration.
Milwaukee police have stressed the need for calm in the wake of trouble in other cities, and tonight there has been no trouble. Charles Benson is downtown at the Police Administration Building with the latest on that. Charles?
Well, Mike, it's been very quiet on the streets of Milwaukee. It appears to be that there are no disturbances related to the anger over the Rodney King verdict. In fact, we've been driving around the city, we've been down on the lakefront, and it appears to be business as usual for both the police and the public. Now, earlier today, the police chief met with more than 20 community groups, and he says that he has urged police to be sensitive to what's going on, and he's urging the community to also be sensitive.
The officers have been instructed to be very sensitive and not to initiate or instigate a situation, but on the other hand, to preserve the safety and the security of the city.
We just have sensitivity in our community, and he's been definitely giving us that ever since he's come into office, that he continues that with his officers, and that they understand that when they go out on the street, that's what we expect. And our community also give them the respect that they need.
And Mike, while it may be business as usual, I must tell you police are working overtime tonight. County sheriff deputies are also working overtime to make sure there are no problems.
It seems as if they're ready for the worst, Charles, but do police believe if we get through tonight, for example, without any serious incidents, that the serious stuff is over?
Well, we've had 2 nights of no problems, and every hour that ticks by is good. Their main concern, the big fear here, is that some small incident might escalate into a big problem. So far, that hasn't happened, so they're very happy the way things are going.
Okay, Charles, thanks for that live report.
We've got one final note tonight on the unrest in Los Angeles. It's a follow-up of sorts. You probably saw this horrible scene earlier in the week. A truck driver savagely beaten in the first hours of the rioting. His name is Reginald Denny, and he's still on life support, but his condition has been upgraded from critical to serious. Denny has a little girl, and friends think that's why he's fighting so hard to survive.
Other news now in California at this hour. Police